Go ahead.
I'm going first.
Yeah, why not?
Son, you the leader.
I know, but so what?
All right. So the thing about this movie that was a little confusing to me
No.
was...
What's the movie first, and then...
Oh. The name of this movie that we're going into is No Holds Barred.
Starring...
The legendary, one of the greatest of all time.
Excuse me?
Hulk Hogan is one of the... Hulk Hogan is the greatest.
I got it. Today, we are going to be reviewing a hard turd. Like, you know, like the turds that sit outside when a dog takes a big dump and it just sits outside in the sun baking for like 3 days. This is what this movie is to me. Now, obviously, I've seen this movie as a kid.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, when I was younger, I was a Hulk Hogan fan.
It was epic when we were kids.
I wasn't a Hulk Hogan fanatic. I was more of a Macho Man guy. That was my guy.
Over Hogan?
Yeah, Macho Man and Jake the Snake was like my favorite wrestlers.
Son, Hogan was the Michael Jordan.
Oh, well, and Ultimate Warrior, because Ultimate Warrior spoke to me more than Hulk Hogan did, because he was more like esoteric and more a little deep. You know what I mean? So like I'm not gonna say I didn't cheer for Hogan when he did his thing back in the days, but if I had to pick, my favorite would be Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, and Jake the Snake. In that order.
Okay.
That, for me, growing up. But Hogan was Hogan. But when I tell you this movie is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Who wrote this script? Well, I figured out who wrote this script. It had to have been Hulk Hogan and probably Vince McMahon.
Just them two.
Because it has their stench all over it. The limos, it
was executive produced by both of them, so you know it had to be written by both of them.
Here goes Vince. Hey, Terry. What's up, Vince? I got a bag of cocaine. Meet me in my hotel room. I got this great idea for a movie. No problem. I'll be there, brother. And that was it. That's how the movie came to be, was just them locking themselves in a room somewhere and doing incredible amounts of cocaine and just writing this turd. Because the beginning of this movie was just like I'm watching a WWF.
Yeah.
And for the rest of this, I'm going to be saying WWF. I'm not going to be saying WWE. This was one of the worst.
Yo, that was one of the craziest parts to me. They just had two midgets in a cage for no reason.
I honestly think midgets should be in a cage all the time.
I don't think we're about to get canceled. It's hard enough just saying the word midgets because some people don't even accept that.
You shouldn't have midgets walking around just normally without being caged. That's
crazy. Because I was born short, that means I can't just be walking around.
You can't just be walking around just like, you know.
I'm a Bushwick Bill fan, so you can't just be
see, there you go. It's a perfect. He should have been locked in the cage too. Let me not get off track. This movie was horrible. This movie is about a TV wrestler who was getting all the ratings, and then there's just like this crooked NBC, which is they turned like these NBC execs. I mean, they're not obviously NBC.
And you know what's crazy?
What's up?
It seems like the storyline almost happened because remember, they had a different federation, and WWF ended up losing their wrestlers to another federation. So the storyline is similar to what ended up happening. All right, I'll shut the fuck up.
I didn't even have to
I
say
be
it.
feeling like I be getting deep.
I have them trained. I don't even have to say it now. I can just look at you. Shut the fuck. No. I'm joking. No, but seriously, like to make this TV corporation look like a criminal enterprise, which is what they did. They literally turned them into like a criminal enterprise.
And the acting was horrible in their part.
Oh my God, the worst. And that's why I said this movie is horrible.
For that man to be so small and to act like he was going to be so threatening to Hogan in his face.
Well, what do you think the guy who grabbed Terry Crews' nuts was like? I'm sure he was the same way. He grabbed Terry Crews' nuts.
Who was it?
I don't know. I forgot the name of the person. I don't think he actually even said who it was publicly. Oh. But I'm just guessing that he, you know, these guys they're drunk with power. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna get that short man complex or little man complex thing going on. But
every movie from the 80s, getting slapped around was just a regular thing.
Normal thing. And like, it's not like you slapped a woman, she's like, oh, I'm going to the police. It was just like, oh, I'm so sorry, Seymour. I'll never do it again.
So soon as my arm heals from this sling, we're gonna be together.
And what we're talking about, there's a scene in the movie where the NBC executive guy sends this girl to be like a mole for Hulk Hogan, like a love interest to kind of like persuade him, coerce him to, and she, she wasn't doing her job, I guess, as efficiently as he wants. So he just slaps the piss out of her. Shouldn't have did that, because she hated Hulk Hogan up to this point. She thought he was like a pompous, like how we think of Hulk Hogan now.
Oh, going to the brother, his brother randomly was at a fight and like, yo, son, this shit was nuts. And you know what's crazy about the scene at the end? Every time they showed his brother, his makeup was a different color. I was like, yo, son, the makeup on it is nuts.
His brother, Randy, they turned him into a transformer. This company, they're coming after Hogan because he didn't want to sign with them. So now it's just war. They send a guy in a limousine to kidnap Hogan. He starts fighting the limousine so hard to the point where the limousine driver is crashing all over the place because Hogan is just kicking windows in the back.
He breaks the TV.
The stupidest thing I've ever seen. So, long story short, Hogan has this brother who has been.
Wait, before you pass this part,
I talk about Wheelchair Randy.
While he's in the limousine, he blasts out the top of the limousine, son, and smoke everywhere. He just beats everybody's head.
He's grunting at the guys, like just full on Roy rage in this entire movie.
How did his brother get in a wheelchair? Like,
I'm about to tell you. They beat the brakes off fucking Randy. They beat the brakes off Randy. Like, so Randy went to go spy on Zeus on a fight. And like a dumbass, he wears a Rip 'em t-shirt to let everybody know, hey,
that's my brother.
This is my brother. Like, hey, I'm working for, instead of just putting on if Randy, all he had to do was just put on a shirt that didn't say Rip 'em. Oh yeah, Hulk Hogan's character name was Rip. So he had this Rip 'em t-shirt on. All he had to do was not wear a t-shirt. He would have been fine, but because of the t-shirt, they figured out, hey.
No. Remember, something happened where his boy said, they grabbed his boy up, and then he said, that's Rip's brother.
Wheelchair Randy. They turned him into a transformer.
Wheelchair Randy is crazy. Yo, son, he started moving
He's trying to move his paraplegic finger. Hey, get up, Rip. You can do it. No, Rip can't do it. Rip cannot do it. So anyway, so they get a hold of Randy, and Zeus beats the brakes off this. I mean, unmercifully just beats the brakes off this kid. So he ends up in a wheelchair. Randy, I'm gonna stop calling him Wheelchair Randy. That's foul. Randy is Hogan's, hype man. He's the one that's egging Hogan on to do it. So, long story short, this movie comes to a close where there's this big fight between Hogan and Zeus, filmed on this big network, and Zeus, as we figured, is just smacking Hogan all over the place. So, as we famously do, if we had to remake this movie today,
who would be the Black Hogan?
Who would be the Black Hogan?
It has to be somebody that's really popular.
Oh, I got one. Morgan Freeman.
Versus Zeus?
Morgan Freeman versus Zeus.
Sir, Morgan Freeman get his ass whooped.
Now listen here, brother. I don't want any trouble. Listen here. Just relax.
Yo, son, imagine Morgan Freeman and Zeus in like a jail scene. Like,
that's my asshole, young man. I apologize.
I just can't. Yo, son,
I know.
I just can't accept.
I'm watching how uncomfortable you are as I keep talking shit about Hogan. I just watch you squirming in the couch.
Son, it's just a difficult conversation. Yo, son, I'm even mad about the Diddy thing. Son, like,
you don't want to come to
Diddy,
grips with the fact that Hogan is a cokehead racist.
Son, just leave me alone.
And then the people in the WWF that you thought were that weren't. They were mad cool, and it's like the person that you praise is oh my god. But yeah, this movie is horrible. It did not age great. If I'm gonna give it any stars, I'm gonna give it 1.5 stars out of 5.
I'm gonna say this: it doubled their budget,
and
it was an $8 million budget, and they made 16, and they made 16 back, so they doubled their money.
Not only that, but they made Hogan even more of a star.
Easy.
How do you like that? I'm literally looking at a list of all his movies, and No Holds Barred is not here.
That's nuts.
So that's what does that tell you?
He said they don't even count.
They don't even count that as a movie. They was like, this is a piece of shit.
It's kind of crazy when you on whatever app you on and you decide to swipe left.
Yeah.
And you like, I know this chick ain't even gonna make it to the second date. But you try to give her the benefit of the doubt.